I've been playing Super Mario Odyssey for a while now, and it's been a lot of fun. Up until this point. This video does contain some spoilers for what comes after the main storyline. I played quickly through the main story. I wanted to get to the end of the game and see what happens. And once you're done with the story, it really just becomes a game about collecting these power moons. But for what purpose? So I threw those power moons into the Odyssey and powered that baby up. Now Mario, Cappy, and I could finally travel to the darker side of the moon. It sounds scary, a little ominous even, but it's actually a lot of fun on the surface. It's a never-ending party, a celebration for Mario. Everyone's here just having a good time on the moon. But one final challenge seems to remain. You turn yourself into a frog and jump up here to this pipe. And here's where the horror begins. You're back to normal gravity. The first encounter is this hat mini-boss, which we've seen before. So I jumped a bunch of Goombas on top of each other and defeated this guy, only to be rewarded with one of those heart things. A life up heart. It extends your life meter to 6, which is useful considering the difficulty of this level, but I don't know that it's worth the time involved to beat that hat. So the first real challenge is this kind of obstacle course over the lava. And I had a hard time with it at first. No matter how fast I climbed, it just seemed like the thing was sinking too quickly. But a little bit of practice, I start to figure it out. And so that was the first time I died. But there were plenty more deaths after that. I made it through that first obstacle to get to this new one, which also had its difficulties for me. At some point I turned myself into a fireball. That didn't work very well. And this flower road thing was probably my least favorite, for a while anyway. The problem with it is really the camera angle. The camera is just a complete nuisance. If only I could see what I was doing. And of course there's just an occasional mistake. But the real takeaway is that this frickin' level is impossible. Also, if you jump off to the side here, there's a Sphinx with a riddle for you. Get the right answer and you get another life up heart. Eventually I made it all the way to where you gotta turn yourself into one of these woodpecker things, and then I died. A lot. So the real problem with this level isn't really the difficulty so much as the sheer length of it. Here's one of my most graceful run-throughs, which you may have noticed I started off with a long jump into a Goomba. Oh, by the way, just use a Princess Amiibo and cheat. Get yourself a life up heart when you need it. It's just not worth the hassle. So the secret to this part here was the wall jump. Instead of trying to climb up the pillar, use a wall jump to get yourself up there. Pole jumping is easy but stressful. It's just a matter of timing and trusting in the A button. Then you just long jump through here. The secret at the end here is to make sure you get yourself on one of the taller ones before jumping off. Otherwise, you won't reach. Then you get to be a fireball. And the fireball jumping is really annoying. Another problem with the camera, really. It's hard to get the camera positioned just right so you can even tell where you're jumping. Ultimately, I stopped worrying about hurting myself too much just because I can use the amiibo cheat. I've been tempted to try popping out of the fireball here just to see if you can, but I've died so much already, I just don't want to risk it. This section I just don't like. It's not difficult, it's just slow. Too much waiting on things to move, and these little colorful idiots annoy me. Here's another section that is annoying for having to wait. It's simple enough though. Just wait for the right opportunity and then run, or roll, to the end. Then we get Yoshi. The Yoshi climb is pretty easy, and you get enough coins off of it that you're really profiting despite all the deaths as you attempt this level. You can pretty much figure out how to get through any of these areas, but it takes a little bit of practice. And with a level this long, having to die and reset yourself back to the beginning, it's really hard to get that practice in. I've played through these beginning obstacles so many times now, but the one that I have the most problem with right now, the little woodpeckers section, it takes about 10 minutes to even get there. And that's assuming that I don't kill myself along the way or make some other stupid mistake. So if only there were some checkpoints along the way, some flags that you could teleport yourself to. That's all this level really needs, because I don't want to have to play through all of this stuff that I already know how to get through. I don't want to spend 10 minutes doing that just to get to the part that I need practice on. I end up playing 10 to 15 minutes through sections that are already really easy for me, only to die within 2 seconds on this part that I just can't figure out yet. This whole thing is all about muscle memory. You'll figure out the pattern eventually, but use the coin hoops as guides. I've never had any problems in this section. I did hit a fly once, but it didn't kill me. And you know what they say, that which doesn't kill you might still piss you off. Even though I've never died in this gliding section, it still stresses me out. I feel like there's something I could do wrong, even though I don't know what that might be. All you gotta do is just fly into the wind tunnel things. The fork flinging isn't too difficult. If you do hit the lava, sometimes you can just jump your way to the end. This would be a good spot for a checkpoint. I was really disappointed there wasn't a checkpoint here. This whole section, I don't know if there is a secret to it. I just cheat and use the amiibo, and I know that I'm just going to take a lot of damage on this stupid ride. I guess the goal is to try to jump over these rings of fire as they come at you, but at some point there's just too many of them and it becomes a matter of luck. But just use the Princess Amiibo. And here we are, this woodpecker thing. This is the part I just can't get past yet. I can't get enough time to practice. The physics seem weird to me. I can't tell if I need to account for the momentum of the swinging or not. And if you miss it, you die and it's back to the start.
It's impossible!
Jumping up these little things here is impossible. Fling yourself up to the next one, but it doesn't work right and you just fall and die. It's impossible.